Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Force here with some more StarCraft 2 commentary. Today we will be looking at a series between TSL's HyuN and ZenX Mentalist. This is going to be a Protoss versus Zerg, Mentalist versus HyuN here on the map GSL Daybreak. And yes, I realize it has been a while since the last SC2 game. Last week was pretty slim pickings on my channel for SC2 cast. For that, I apologize, and hopefully this week we'll be able to get back to a normal schedule of SC2 games. And I gotta stop clicking on these probes. I am such a StarCraft player. Alright, so let's get some recent tournament information for both these players. Beginning in the upper right-hand spawn position, our blue Zerg player, TSL HyuN, took first place at the Antec Attack number 10 in April of 2012, and in March of 2012 he took first place at the AGL March Invitational. His opponent over here in the lower left-hand spawn position, who is going for a Forge Fast expand, is our red Protoss player, ZenX Mentalist. He took second place at the NA Zotac Cup number 26. That was in November of 2011, and in October of 2011 he took first place at the NA Go4 SC2 number 89. And yes, some recent tournament information. Now let us hop into the game. Once again, we will be seeing a Forge Fast expand here from Mentalist as he places the pylon in front of that natural expansion, and we'll be formulating that wall off somewhere within this green box, either angled towards that expansion or directly across to that angle. One or the other is what we should be seeing there from Mentalist. Back over here for HyuN, we are seeing that pool first. Obviously very necessary in this matchup when he gets scouted early by that Protoss player. Trying to go hatch first really can be a major problem, especially when you see stuff like this as pylon harassment. We do have another drone moving down here for HyuN. He's continuing to chase this probe with that drone. Pylon gets canceled as Mentalist realizes that that drone actually was bypassing the pylon down here, and will instead be coming out with that first expansion over here in the third expansion position. So this is what you will see Zerg players do sometimes, is they'll, instead of waiting and continuing to deal with the harass from a probe and from that pylon as they wait for their first set of Zerglings, they will instead move to that third position and drop their first expansion there. And that's exactly what we saw HyuN do this game. With that drone continuing to chase the probe, though, this is making sure the Mentalist isn't placing a pylon and planning to drop any cannons or anything like that. So HyuN should be safe for the moment. We do have two Zerglings and the first Queen coming out as the spawning pool is now in play. And we'll have to see if HyuN decides to get an extractor and stick on these two bases, or if he chooses to get a quick third base, which is what I'm going to have to assume that he will be doing here. Again, we'll keep an eye on it, but there's still no extractors, continuing to save up those resources. And another drone moves down and pretty much confirms that we will be getting a quick third base here from HyuN. And there you have it, the third base now placed down. Back over here for our red Protoss player, I almost called him the red Zerg player, ZenX Mentalist. Cannon is up, first gateway, about halfway done building right now. We'll be seeing a Cybernetics core also get placed up here. That Nexus is just about finished as well. Zerglings need to be careful, not even bothering pushing, as we do have this Overlord scout out front. He's got a full vision of the wall. He knows exactly how many cannons and everything that he's up against. He's also going to know when there's any anti-air coming, and obviously that is not going to be until after Mentalist gets that Cybernetics core in play, which he will be placing down just in one moment, and there you go. Cybernetics core now coming through, a little bit of space there left between the Cyber core and that pylon, and the Overlord will be moving at or about near when that Cybernetics core finishes, just to make sure he doesn't deal with any Stalker or Sentry harass. And there you go, Cyber core about halfway finished now. The Overlord is deciding to piece out of there so that when the anti-air comes into play, he doesn't run into any issues. Both the simulators up and running in the main base there for Mentalist. Zerglings continuing to scout the front. Back over here, we can see that third base now almost finished at the natural expansion. Has some decent saturation over here at this expansion. Still no extractors, though, as he continues to drone up. A lot of times you'll see the droning up until about 42 or 44 supply before any extractors come into play. And let's see if that is what HyuN will be doing. Keep an eye on when those extractors come through. Now, obviously, without those, there we go, look at that. He hits 44 supply, gets the two extractors just like that. What is known as the Ice Fisher build. As a matter of fact, it was Spinishiwa, I'm fairly certain, that invented that. Those were the days. Remember Spinishiwa play? I haven't heard from him in a while, though. At least I haven't commentated a game from him in a while, but what does that really mean? Robo coming out here for Mentalist. This will be his method of scouting early on, as he realizes that map control is pretty much going to HyuN at the moment. So we'll be coming out with that Robo and chrono boosting out that first observer. Getting some scouting as soon as possible. Kind of just wants to know what the heck is going on. So there you go. There's the chrono boost on that first observer. And we'll be moving that across the map just to figure out what kind of tech is HyuN going for. What exactly does he have in terms of saturation, everything like that. We'll just get as much intel as possible. We have that layer coming through right now for HyuN. Do we have metabolic boost? It hasn't even started yet, so deciding to go layer first there. Level 1 weapon upgrade over here for Mentalist. Continuing to produce those sentries as early on he is just going to want to make sure that he's able to force field just in case there's any aggression from his opponent, because you never know, you could see a roach speedling push, and that is pretty much what he will be scouting out for right now. So as Mentalist moves across the map with the observer, he will be heading straight for the main first, as that is where the tech is likely going to be placed, and just see, is there a roach warren, is there a baneling nest, is the layer almost finished, which it actually consequently is almost finished. We also have some creep spread starting over here for HyuN. Love to see that. And ooh, the roach warren actually tucked away over here in the natural expansion, and that's almost finished now. Also the level 1 missile attack upgrade getting researched at the moment. Layer, when that finishes, we should be seeing that roach speed come through here for HyuN's roaches. And back over here, we actually saw, look at that, Robotics Bay in play. Mentalist starting out with the Colossus very early on, before the 10-minute mark on 2 bases. We're going to see Mentalist here come out with some Colossus, and we will have to see how HyuN is able to respond to that. Now, his best bet really, of course, are those Corruptors, but he is really not in the position to do that right now, as he doesn't have a Spire coming through. Just will be sticking with these roaches and Zerglings. The metabolic boost almost finished now for those Zerglings as well. And there's the Glowl Reconstitution, or the roach speed, getting researched. Again, he's got decent saturation on all these bases. His economy sitting pretty strong. Macro Hatch also coming through at the moment. Now we do have this third base getting placed down here from Mentalist, and it looks like HyuN will be scouting that in a moment as he's moving forward with his Speedlings and Roaches. Overlord pulled in there for some sacrificial scouting. Now we got some sentries, a Colossus, and a Stalker in play. Here comes to push those Speedlings and Roaches. Let's see if he can force that cancel. That's his biggest goal right now. There it is. Cancel gets forced. I mean, yeah, that's what I said. So Mentalist, realizing he didn't have enough to deal with that force right there, didn't even bother engaging, kept his army back here. He was really concerned that he would have lost everything. As you can see, since he decided to tech so hard and quickly up into Colossus, he simply didn't have the army size. Whereas if he went with a 6 or 7 gate and those weapon upgrades early on, he would have had enough of a force to actually prevent that from forcing the cancel of that expansion, but again, unable to do so because he decided to go for that Colossus. Now, with that said, he does have a tech advantage right now. You can see that Spire just now coming through here for HyuN, and we'll see. I'm not sure if he's even scouted. Yes, okay, now finally scouting the Colossus, so at least he knows that those are in play, and we should be seeing immediately some Corruptors come in to help deal with that. The Roaches can do a pretty decent job, but they're still not the best. He's going to force another cancel. Doesn't even get to cancel it off. Mentalist ends up losing the resources from that Nexus. Very, very nice aggressive play here from HyuN. More and more Roaches streaming across the map. We have a Twilight Council coming into play. Another Colossus just about finished. That is going to put him at 3. Also some more Stalkers coming out. Mentalist having a very, very hard time expanding here as HyuN continues to be aggressive towards that position. Here we go, more Speedlings and Roaches now moving forward. We've got 8 Corruptors in production right now. That is a hefty, hefty amount. And once that is in, these Colossus will not be nearly as effective. And what we need to see right now from Mentalist is once that Twilight Council comes into play, we do need to see that Blink research that is going to help him deal with the Corruptors that will be trying to counter those Colossus. But if that doesn't finish before we see a push here from HyuN, then Mentalist could be in a lot of trouble. He, again, really, really needs that Blink to be done by the time HyuN engages. Observer scout in the front just to see if HyuN's going to push towards the natural expansion. More Speedlings coming out as well. And there are the Corruptors, and is he going to go? There's a force field there. Mentalist trying to prevent him from moving up into that position. A few Speedlings sitting idly over here. Wants to pull back. Is he going to move towards here? There we go. Speedlings and Roaches now moving towards a third again. Is he going to force another cancel? This time Mentalist is prepared for this, moving forward with those Stalkers and the Colossus. Look at how quickly those Colossus get taken out, and the Stalkers plus the Sentry trying to do as much damage as possible. We got Roaches continue to push over here, forcing to cancel a few buildings. This Colossus almost dead. Doesn't even matter. They have so much anti-air. All the Colossus get taken out, and now it's just the Speedlings and Roaches versus Stalkers and a few Sentries. It's going to take out the Nexus again. How terrible for a Mentalist. He also has some Speedlings up in the main, wreaking havoc, and Mentalist forced to call the GG, losing a ton of workers in his main from a Speedling attack that I'm assuming snuck by in this position. Absolutely unbelievable. Very, very aggressive play here this game from HyuN, and quite impressive indeed as he continued to force the cancel of this expansion. Mentalist was just unable to deal with it. Alright my friends, thank you so much for watching this game number 1 between HyuN and Mentalist, and again, HyuN does come out on top as he is very aggressive this game with those Roaches and Speedlings, forcing many cancels of the Nexus, then makes that quick switch to Corruptors to counter these Colossus, and is just able to overwhelm Mentalist. What a great game. Hopefully you enjoyed this first game in the series. We'll be moving on to game 2 in just a moment. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe, keep watching, and keep owning.